So in the last session, we discussed about the two-way simply supported slabs that were not held down condition, and from this lecture onwards we will be starting with our portion that is two-way simply supported slab, but the corners will be in the held down condition, or you can say the corners are restrained. Now if we talk about the modern construction scenarios, the two-way slabs or the simply supported slabs that are being constructed are generally being practiced using this method only. Yeah. So the generally available practices for slab construction is either a simply supported or a continuous. In both the cases, in the modern scenarios, two-way slabs are being constructed. For simply supported, two-way slabs are constructed with restrained conditions, and for continuous we will be seeing in the next session. So starting with our session, the question here is design a simply supported two-way slab for a clear size of 3 meter cross 4 meter for a superimposed load of 3 kilonewton per meter square. That means live load is prescribed here by limit state method, that our whole portion or the whole syllabus is under limit state method. Use concrete grade M20 and steel Fe415. The thickness of wall is given as 250 mm. And the main condition here is assume corners are held down. So there are basically two types of conditions that we are dealing with. The first is corners are not held down, that we have already completed it, and the second is corners are held down condition, that we'll be seeing further on. Yeah, so the basic changes or the basic differences between these two things we'll be covering in detail in the later portion. So now starting with the size of section, as you can see here, the size of slab is prescribed as 3 meter cross 4 meter. Now keep in mind, in slab criteria, slab portion, the sizes are not prescribed as X cross Y. It can be of any axis. Just you need to know the longer span and the shorter span. So if it was not mentioned as to be designing as a two-way slab, the first step will be to identify the aspect ratio, and aspect ratio will be Ly by Lx. Okay? So the first step here will be the same, that is to find the effective depth. So effective depth, first obviously in every case of two-way slabs we need to check the two conditions, and the two conditions where the shorter span should be less than or equal to 3.5 meter and the live load prescribed should be less than or equal to 3 kilonewton per meter square. If both the conditions are satisfied, then we will be designing as per our page number 39 of our IS code that we have already seen. So from this we will be using this case, that is 35. So L by D ratio will be 35 mm that we have already seen in the previous session too. And the thing that to be kept in mind is for HYSD bars, these values are to be multiplied by 0.8. So our final equation comes out to be for F5 equal to 415, the final equation comes out to be L by D equal to 35 into MF into 0.8. Yeah? So our next step will be to find PT, and as we are designing, we will be always assuming PT to be 0.3 in the case of two-way slab and 0.6 in the case of one-way slab. So assuming PT to be 0.3%. So now from the figure 4 present in page number 38 of our IS code, we will be calculating the value of MF, and MF in this case comes out to be 1.5. So as per our calculation, D comes out to be 71.42 mm. Whatever the answer comes, we always apply small d in two parts, that is dx, that is in x-axis, and dy, that is in y-axis. X is the shorter one and y is the longer one. So dx will always be 110 mm, dy will be 100 mm, and d, that is our overall depth, will be 135. So this criteria will be fixed whenever we will be designing a slab or a two-way slab. Yeah? So these are to be kept in mind, but again for 10 mm diameter bars. If you assume 8 mm in the actual design, the criteria may vary, that will be seen further on. So the second step of ours will be to find effective span. Again, for simply supported one way or simply supported two way, our answer will be same, that we will be always checking it for the shorter span first and then for the longer span, and you will be getting the equation from page number 34. So moving on to page number 34, the equations can be obtained from this case that we have already covered. So the first equation was our small d, that is effective depth plus the clear span. Clear span is given in question as 3 meter in the shorter axis. So our answer comes out to be 3110 mm. And in the second case it is mentioned as center to center of support. So it comes out to be 3000 plus 250. So our answer comes out to be 3250 mm. and out of these two cases we always need to consider whichever is lesser. So the lesser value comes out to be 3110. So for x-axis, that is Lx, comes out to be 3110 mm. Now keep in mind the y distance is different as compared to x distance. So here we need to find Ly separately. We won't be assuming Lx equal to Ly that we have done in the previous example. So here similarly, by calculating Ly comes out to be 4110 mm by these both methods. So this was our second step, that was effective span. Now moving on to the step number 3, that will be load calculations. Again the fundamentals will be the same. We will be calculating 3 loads. The first will be the self-weight of slab, second will be the live load, and third will be the floor finish. Now in this case I have taken floor finish to be 0.8 because we were always taking it to be 1. So to make some change to the answer, I have taken it to be 0.8. You can still assume it to be 1. There is no issue in that because it is not mentioned in that question. If the floor finish load is present in the question or is applied in the question, then you need to take that value only. So here this will be obtained by the equation rho BD. This will be my capital D, this will be my rho, and this will be my width. Thus calculation of slab will always be per meter width. Okay, so the answer comes out to be total 7.175 kilonewton per meter. And as we are dealing with or we are calculating this answer from the actual dimensions, the answer that we get will be the actual moment. So now we will be focusing on the factor moment. So factor moment will be this value multiplied by factor of safety, which will be 1.5. So the answer comes out to be 10.76. Yeah. So up till now the steps were same as we have seen in the previous session too. So for one way or two way, you can say that for one way and two way slabs, up to these points the general criteria were same that we were discussing. The major change now that will occur when the corners are held down and when corners are not held down will be from our next step, that is mid-span moments. Okay? So for two way slabs we always move on to page number 90 for calculation of mid-span moments. We have already seen in this simply supported that were our previous session, which was of not restrained or not held down, and for that we have induced or we have calculated the equation from D to. Now we will be focusing on that page again and moving on to the page. Here you can see annex D is mentioned and it is for slab spanning in two direction, that is two-way slab. So here you can see there are basically two main subtopics, the D1 portion and D2 portion. D2 portion is simply supported slab, but keep in mind it is simply supported slab and the condition here is not restrained or corners are not held down. Whenever the condition is given as corners are held down, it means the condition is given as restrained slabs. Clear? Now what do you mean by corners are held down? Corners are held down, that means the four corners, as it is simply supported slab, it will be resting on four columns on four supports or four walls on either four sides. So you need to check or you need to find extra torsion reinforcement on the four corners because it is held down condition. Held down condition means what? It is not applicable or it is not allowed to have some deflection allowance on the corner portion. In the case of previous session that we have discussed about corners are not held down, there the deflection was allowed up to a certain limit, yeah, on the corners, whereas as here it says that corners are held down, that means the corners are not allowed to deflect even a single mm. So for that we need to find the torsion reinforcement at the corner. So this will be the change that we'll be seeing further on in this session. Now moving to the equations, the equations will be the same that we have seen. Mx equal to alpha x w lx square and my will be equal to alpha y w lx square. Again the equation is for lx only that we have seen in the previous session too. But the calculation of alpha will be different. In the previous session that was for not restrained slabs, we calculated the value alpha from table number 27. Now for the case that is corners are held down, we will be moving to this table, that is table 26 on your page number 91, and here you can see a big table that we will be focusing on. The heading itself says that bending moment coefficient for rectangular panels supported on four sides with provision for torsion at corners. provision of torsion at corners, that means corners are held down. Clear? So this table is used to find the coefficients of bending moment when the condition is given as corners are held down. So in this case you can see total 9 cases are present here. So out of these 9 cases, it is important to understand which case is applicable in which condition. Now we will be seeing this, that is case number 1 to case number 8 in the case of continuous slabs. Again repeating, for case number 1 to case number 8, it will be only applicable for two-way continuous slabs that will be referring in the next sessions. And as this session represents the two-way simply supported slab, so here we will be checking this, that is 4 edges discontinuous. Now go by the name, 4 edges discontinuous, that means every edge, that is every edge on these sides are not continuous, and if it is not continuous, that means it is ending at that point. And if all the 4 sides are ending at that point, that means it is prescribed as a simply supported slab. Clear? So it is directly not mentioned as simply supported slab, but for simply supported we will be always calculating or finding the values of alpha from this case, that is case number 9. Now moving on to the columns, you can see here short span coefficient, that is alpha x is present, and in the last column long span coefficient, that is alpha y is present. So to calculate alpha y, we will be always focusing on the last column, whereas to calculate alpha x, we will be focusing on this parameter, that is the values of Ly by Lx. So the aspect ratio will be considered in this case. Clear? So now keep in mind how to solve this problem. So as you can see here, the aspect ratio that we have seen, again keep in mind, aspect ratio not for the R clear span, aspect ratio will be calculating it for the effective spans. Clear? So this is to be understand. Effective Ly was 4110 and effective Lx was 3110. So our new aspect ratio comes out to be 1.32. So now we will be calculating the value of alpha x from this ratio, that is 1.32. And as you can see here, the coefficients or the ratios are mentioned, but the 1.32 is not mentioned. So here understand it and keep in mind, you always need to interpolate the values if the exact value is not prescribed here. So if it was 1.3, then directly we could have written it to be 0.079. If the value or the aspect ratio was 1.4, we could have written it as 0.085, but the answer in this case of aspect ratio comes out to be 1.32. So we need to interpolate between these two values, that is between 0.079 and 0.085 to find the value of alpha x, and alpha y is directly given in the last column, that is 0.056. So this way we will be calculating the coefficients or bending moment coefficients that are alpha x and alpha y. So alpha x in this case comes out to be 0.080 and alpha y comes out to be 0.056. So after calculating the coefficients, we will be finding the bending moment. So the first thing will be to calculate mx. So the value of mx here will be 8.32 kilonewton into meter, and the value of my similarly will be 5.83 kilonewton meter. So these are our bending moments, that is 8.32 in mx, that is in x direction, and 5.83 in my, that is in y direction. So after calculating the moments, we will be checking that up to these steps have we calculated the sum correctly or not, and for that we will be always checking this, that is effective depth for flexure. And for that we'll be using the equation for mu lim. So mu will be 0.138 FCK BD square. Now keep in mind here mu, as we are getting two values of m, that is for mx and my. In the previous sum our mx and my was same, so substituting either of them will be giving the correct answer, but in this case our mx and my is different. So what to do now? So remember, whenever you are getting two different values, always substitute the higher value in this case. So the higher value moment can also be resisted, and if the depth is satisfied for the higher moment, the depth will be directly satisfied for the lower moment too. So we are not supposed to calculate for the lower moment, we will be always calculating it for the higher moment. Clear? So the higher moment is in x direction, that is mx. So solving that, we will be getting the value of d to be 54.90. So here, as we have taken mx value, we will be comparing dx. or if we would have taken the value of my, then we will be comparing here with dy. Keep in mind, clear? So what to compare when, you need to understand that. So this check is completed, our answer is finished. So now we will be moving towards our next portion, that is our main calculation. That is, what is the main difference between a restrained and a not restrained or a simply supported section, that is not held down. Okay? So here the restrained sections are mentioned in page number 90 and D1 section, and not restrained sections or not held down condition is mentioned in D2 section. And for that you will be understanding this portion, that is what is this diagram referring to. And this diagram is referring to two things. That is, the first is shown for 25A, as you can see figure 25A is mentioned here, and it shows for span LX. Clear? For span LX this figure is given, and this figure is given for span LY. We'll be going through this detail in brief in the next slides, but taking an overview of this thing. Here you can see that mainly our whole section is divided into two parts. That is, our whole slab portion is divided into two parts. The first part is the middle strip, and the second part is the end strip or the edge strip. Clear? So here there are two bifurcations or two divisions of our main reinforcements. In the previous sessions, in the previous sums, we were just calculating the reinforcements along LX and calculating the reinforcements along LY. But in this case we need to cut out into our two main parts. That is, we need to find our reinforcements in this middle strip, and also we will be finding the reinforcements in this edge strip. Both the reinforcements will be different. And another thing to be noted, and it is must to be noted down, so if you have any query, just write it down for your future references. Now keep in mind, if we calculate steel content for middle strip, again if we calculate our steel content for middle strip, our steel doesn't go through to the end of this slab, or our steel bars doesn't extend to the edge of the strip. Clear? So if it does not extend to the edge of the strip, there is no point in finding or providing bent up bars, because bent up bars are to be provided at supports. And if we are providing our bar in this middle strip, our bar will not be extended till the supports. So for restrained slabs there is no provision to find or to provide bent up bars. So our PT check that we are doing or checking that should be greater than 0.24 will not be applicable in this case. Clear? So this is the major change that we will be dealing with. So now moving towards the design of section, our first design will be reinforcement in middle strip, then we'll be moving to the edge strip. So now along the middle strip, again middle strip is divided into two portions, that is along LX and along LY, that is along X axis and along Y axis. So first we'll be moving towards the LX or the X axis, and for X axis the depth or the effective depth will be 110 mm. Clear? So now the first thing will be to calculate PT, again from the same equation, same values. Here mu will be substituting as nx, d will be substituting as dx, and width will be always substituting it to be per meter, that is 1000 mm. So solving it, we are getting the value to be 0.20. Now in general two-way slabs, that is two-way simply supported slabs, if the condition was given as to be not held down, then this value we would have rounded it off to 0.24. Clear? But in this case we won't be rounding it off to 0.24, because our section or the bars that we have provided in the middle strip are not extending till the edge strip. Clear? So bent up bars is not coming into the picture. But keep in mind, still you need to check one thing, and what is that thing? Here you can see in this figure itself that the minimum reinforcement criteria should always be maintained. And as per our this clause, that is of minimum reinforcement, if we are designing slab in whichever section, either the section will be of mid span or of end span, our minimum criteria should be maintained. So for HYSD bars, our minimum percentage is 0.12. So always check after providing PT or after finding PT, always check that the value is greater than 0.12 or not. If the value is not greater than 0.12, then you need to redesign the sum entirely. So this check is must if you want to get full marks in your examination. So this value, this PT value should always be greater than 0.12 in any of the cases, as this is the minimum value. So it is satisfied. Now we'll be finding the value of AST. So AST in this case will be 220 mm square. Now we will be assuming bar. Again, you can assume to be bar of 10 mm diameter. Here I have assumed it to be 8 mm diameter. So after assuming the bar, we will be providing spacing, and the final answer will be somewhat like this. Now this was our analysis or providing steel in x-axis. Now we'll be providing steel in the y-axis. So for y-axis, we will be taking depth to be 102. Why 102? You can still keep it at 100, that is no concern, because we are taking the value of spacing to be somewhat rounded off. So our final answer will be same in any of the cases. So if you keep the value to be 100 or if you keep the value to be 102, there is of no issue. Here I have kept 102. Why so? Because I have assumed the bar to be of 8 mm. So our dx was 110. So minus the bar dia, that is 8, it comes out to be 102. So in this case, if you still find or if you still substitute the value of dy to be 110, then it will be okay too. Clear? So the next step will be to find the content PT, that is the percentage of steel reinforcement. It comes out to be 0.161. Now what we need to check? We always need to check that it should satisfy the minimum reinforcement criteria, and it does because it is greater than 0.12. So moving further, the AST will be calculated and the spacing will be provided. So this was the design of our middle strip. Now we'll be moving towards the edge strip, and for finding or to check the edge strip, you first need to see the dimensions that we have given. So as you can see here, this figure is from our code, that is from page number 90. Now we'll be going in detail and finding all the dimensions that are prescribed in this figure. So as you can see here, this will be our first figure that will be along LX, that is along X direction. Clear? Again, along X direction. So if we go through this direction, that is X direction, we'll be getting strip in Y direction. Now keep this in mind, strips are always perpendicular. If we move towards this direction, that is along X direction, then we'll be getting this strip in Y direction. And if we move our portion, or if we move along Y direction, that you can see here, if we move along Y direction, then the strips will be getting in X direction. Clear? So these are to be identified for solving the next cases. So here as you can see, LY distance. So our LY distance in this case was 4110. So we have prescribed here 4110, and you can see here too that the distance or the width of the edge strip, the width of the edge strip should always be LY by 8. So our LY in this case was 4110. So LY by 8 will be 515 mm. If you are getting answer to be 512 or 513, just round it off to the higher value. 515 will be okay and 520 will be okay too. Clear? So this value is after rounding it off. This is not the perfect value, so you need to round it off to the near max values. So this is our width of our edge strip in X direction. Now we'll be moving towards a portion or the edge strip in Y direction. So moving in this Y direction, we get edge strip along X axis. So this will be the edge strip along X axis, and we need to find the dimensions of this. So as we know that LX was 3110 mm, and as you can see here, the width of edge strip is LX by 8. So the LX by 8 here comes out to be 390. If you are getting value to be 386, 387, just rounding it off to the higher value, we are taken it to be 390 mm. So these dimensions will be using in our numerical problem that we will be seeing now. Clear? So this is how to calculate our width of edge strip. Now moving towards our actual design. First, to calculate the edge strip, we'll be checking page number 90, clause number D 1.7. So moving on to page number 90 and clause number 1.7, here you can see that reinforcement in edge strip parallel to that of edge shall comply with the minimum given in section 3. That means whenever you are designing steel content in our edge strip, it should be as per the minimum requirement that is given in our code, and the minimum requirement that is given in our code is 0.12, clear, and 0.12 of total cross section area. So in this case our value, that is our AST, will be 0.12 into B into D, that is PT BD by 100. The equation is again the same, PT BD by 100, but PT will be substituting the minimum because it is given here. Minimum is, we need to take it. So PT will be minimum 0.12, width will be taking it to be per meter, and depth will be always taking it to be capital D, because here it is mentioned in the section of minimum reinforcement that you need to take the depth to be overall. Yeah. So this will be our minimum AST that are to be provided. Now in the middle strip, or whenever we are providing our main steel, we always used to check the spacing of the bars, but for our torsion steel and for our edge strip, we will be always finding number of bars. These are the only two things that in which we will be finding our number of bars. In all other cases, that is if you are providing main steel or a distribution steel, we always will be checking the spacing of bars. Clear? So there are only two things, that is first is our edge strip and second will be our torsion steel. In these two cases only we will be finding the number of bars. So for that, again, the length of strip we have calculated in the previous slide. The length of strip was 515 mm. So we will be finding the number of bars, and for that AST required will be 83.43. Now how these value come? As you can see here, for 1 meter width, the AST required is 165. Again, for 1 meter width, the AST required is 165. So for 515 mm, what should be the width? Just a normal cross multiplication is being applied. Clear? Again repeating, for 1 meter width, the AST required is, as per minimum criteria, should be 165. But as we know that the width in X, that is along LX, was 515 mm. So for 515 mm, how much width should be provided? It is a normal cross multiplication, and we'll be getting the answer, that is 83.43 mm square AST is to be provided. And now we'll be checking from the steel table the content. So we are getting two numbers of 8 mm diameter. As we have provided our middle strip to be of 8 mm, we will be checking 8 mm only. If you have provided the bars diameter in middle strip to be of 10 mm, we will be providing 10 mm diameter bars here. Okay? So this was along LX, and the same thing will be repeating for LY. The only thing that is changing is the width. The answer will be the same. For 1 meter, the AST value was 165. So for 390 mm, what should be the value? So you can again cross multiply and get the answer. The answer in this case comes out to be 63.18. So again providing two numbers of bar in this case. Clear? So this was our design of edge strip or end strip. Now we'll be moving on to the final portion, that is our design of torsion steel, that is torsion requirement at corners. And for that we always need to check again page number 90, and this time we'll be moving towards our clause 1.8, D 1.8. So moving towards our clause D 1.8, here you can see that this clause is to be checked. And again keep in mind, this clause is for simply supported section, that is two-way simply supported. And if we are dealing with two-way continuous, we'll be checking this clause, that is D 1.9 and 1.10. Clear? So for some simply supported, we will be always checking this, that is D 1.8. So now from this we need to identify two things. The first thing here is the area of reinforcement in each of these 4 layers, because we are providing torsion reinforcement at each corner, so that will be 4 layers. Each 4 layers shall be 3/4 of area required for maximum midspan moment. Maximum midspan moment in slab. So maximum midspan moment was along x-axis or along y-axis. So mx was maximum. So maximum midspan moment was along x-axis. Strip, whatever the middle strip AST you are getting for x-axis, that you need to divide into 3/4. 3/4, that means 3/4. So the equation comes out to be 0.75 into maximum midspan steel, and maximum midspan steel here we have calculated to be 228. So 3/4 of 228 will be 171 mm square. So on each corners we will be requiring 171 mm square of total AST. Clear? Now we will be requiring the width of that section, that 171 mm square is to be provided, but up to what width it should be provided at each corner. So for that it is mentioned here that, and extending from the edges a minimum distance of 1/5 of shorter span. So the minimum width that is to be provided is 1/5 of the shorter span. Your shorter span in this case was 3. So here after solving it, you get the answer to be length of bar, that is 1/5. So Lx divided by 5. Why Lx? Because it is given 1/5 of shorter span. So Lx, that is our effective Lx. So effective Lx was 3110. So divided by 5 comes out to be 662 mm. So the width of the section should be 662 mm. Clear? So this was our total width. So now for this width we'll be finding the AST. Again the criteria will be the same. That means for 1 meter width the AST required was 171. Again for 1 meter width the AST required was 171. So for 662 mm width, what should be the AST? Simply cross multiplying it and we'll be getting the answer to be 106.36. And for 106.36 we'll be providing the number of bars. Clear? So we'll be providing the number of bars. So here 3 numbers of 8 mm diameter bars are to be provided to resist the AST, that is 106.36 mm square. So this was the design of torsion reinforcement. Here our design is completed. Now we will be seeing that what we have designed. So this is a typical plan view or the top view of a two-way slab or two-way simply supported slab that is restrained. So here you can see this is our middle strip. This portion, as you can see here, is our middle strip, which is along x-axis and along y-axis. Here these corners 1, 2, 3 and 4, these are our edge strips, that is different from the middle strip. And here as you can see, these 4 corners are the torsion reinforcement that are provided. So for remembering the steps, this figure is very important to identify what is to be designed. So the first thing that is to be designed is the main reinforcement, that is the middle strip. So middle strip along x and middle strip along y. The second thing that is to be designed is the edge reinforcements. Okay? And the third thing that is to be designed is the torsion requirement at steel. Torsion reinforcement and edge reinforcement will be coming into picture only when the slabs that are provided of restrained nature, or it is mentioned as corners, are held down. Clear? So this figure will be helpful to actually visualize what we have designed. So this was our sum pertaining to corners are held condition, and this will be our exercise problem. Solve it because it is very important. As you can see in your question bank, generally two-way slabs and with this criteria is asked in abundance. Clear? So this is the exercise problem for today, and in the next section we will be discussing about continuous slabs. Thank you.